Good morning, people. Today is the 25th of February, 2026. I decided I'm going to go ahead and start taking my ivermectin again. I feel bad. I was on TikTok and I did have some good people over there, but there was so much that I did not like that I quit. My friend also wanted me to quit. I mean, he was quite adamant about it. And really, I had no idea, because I've never really scrolled on TikTok like a lot of people do. And what I wanted to do was to draw attention to this channel. So I don't know how to get my videos to go from YouTube over to TikTok. But nevertheless, I put out some good videos while I was there. But I did delete my app. And I believe it said that I deleted all my videos there too. I'm not sure. So I got a little bit of growth while I was there. In other words, my numbers went up over here as far as viewers. So anyway, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I was taking ivermectin. I took it 14 days in a row. Now see, I talked to somebody. The reason I brought up TikTok was I talked to somebody on TikTok that I was going to tell him about ivermectin because I could tell that there was cancer in the family. But it turns out that her husband was already taking ivermectin. He takes a pill every day, and I think he has for a year. Now that's way overkill in my mind's eye because of, but she said, okay, I know I'm going to skid around. She said that he didn't have any troubles taking a pill a day. Well, I don't remember if she told me his weight. But anyway, I believe a meal is for 120 pounds. So I was taking a meal and a half every day for 14 days. So I'm going to try to not get lost. What I'm trying to tell you is, let's go back and realize that ivermectin is a wormer, okay? And when you give it to your animals, you only give it to them once a year, maybe 6 months, depends on the situation. And so I figure once a day for 14 days, I did 14 years worth. But no, the doctor, I didn't have a doctor tell me to take it. In fact, I asked 2 different oncologists because I've moved around. I was with my Papa Bear for a while, so I had an oncologist there in Kennewick. And then I went and stayed with my sister Nancy for a while. And I had an oncologist there because I had to continue taking my treatments. And I asked her, I said, what do you think about ivermectin? And she told me she had no problems with ivermectin, but that she could not give me a prescription for it. Okay, and I couldn't get it without a prescription because I'd already checked. I'm talking about your normal channels, okay? I'm not sure. I think there might be a place online that you can get it, but I didn't ever follow through with that. One time I was ready to do it, they didn't have any in stock, and I believe these are pills or capsules or something. But anyway, so I went roundabout a different way. I went to a feed store. And I bought it like I was buying it for a horse or a cow. And I bought the paste. They call it a paste, but it's really a gel. But nevertheless, I bought that, and I took that, And what I would do is I would take it, okay, one of my people on here, her boyfriend said, and I bet it was Linda. Anyway, her boyfriend said, just pretend like you're 120 pounds and take 1/10. You know, the syringe that you get for the horse is for a 1,250 pound horse. You give it the whole syringe. So we divided it. I had already thought about it, but it was a really good idea. I'm sorry, I do a lot of burping. But anyway, so I just kind of guesstimated and figured out what 1/10 of a dose would be. It comes in a syringe, and you just push up a little bit. But what you're supposed to do is just give the whole thing to the horse. Okay, but still, the thing is, once a year, supposed to worm that horse. There are other stories that go with that make me believe in this. Plus, my marker numbers went down. Last I knew, okay, they were settling right in at 120 and 150. There's two different numbers, and I don't understand the difference. I just know that once upon a time, my oncologist in Kennewick had told me 1,400. And I don't know. She didn't tell me there were two different numbers. So I don't know if that was 1,400 each or 1,400 together. Anyway, so relating to this worming stuff. I mean, if you saw all my videos, which I know you haven't because there's only been a few. What was I going to say? I shouldn't allow myself to get lost. I must have got lost. Okay, so anyway, I went to Tractor Supply. See the cow and the pig? They're not even showing a horse. But that paste is upstairs, so I don't have that to show you. So I was taking the paste to begin with, and what I was doing was I would do it 2 days in a row. Sometimes I did 3, and then I would skip for a while, and then I'd come back to it and do it again because I figured it was overkill. And the story I was telling you was a man that I had talked to, my grandma Smith. My grandma Smith turned me on to this guy. He was 70 years old when I talked to him. And this was a long time ago. About 25, maybe 20 years ago. I'm having a hard time. I got something in my throat. Anyway, when I talked to this man, he had been fighting cancer since he was 20. So I don't know if it just came back every so often or what, because he was 70. That's 50 years. But his answer to me was to do a colon cleanse. I mean, a real colon cleanse, and to kill parasites. And that colon cleanse is supposed to help get all the stuff off the walls of your intestines. And there are parasites in there. But anyway, I am not sure. I got a book with it all written down somewhere where I was taking the ivermectin. I'm just not sure when I quit. Some weird things were happening. Some stuff was coming out that wasn't poop. And I thought to myself, maybe it was worms that was coming out, but I couldn't tell. It was weird. It was really weird. And there was mucusy type stuff too. And someone I had talked to said, well, you know, you could have hurt your intestinal lining, your mucous membrane intestinal lining, which I never knew anything about. But all I know is weird things were afoot. It wasn't quite like a diarrhea thing. It was an urgent thing, and more prevalent than just going to potty. But the point was, I quit. I quit taking my ivermectin because, and I looked, and I had taken it 14 days in a row. So I figured I overkilled really bad. But this woman that I talked to on TikTok said her husband takes that every single day, 1 meal a day, and that he has no problems. All I know is, like all of us, we want to eradicate this disease. And with that man telling me, kill parasites, do an intestinal cleanse and kill parasites, okay? And then, let's say 4 or 5 months ago, I don't know, I saw a video. A veterinarian was talking about these dogs that he had wormed with ivermectin. And he said that they just happened to have cancer also. And their cancer went away, no more. And I thought to myself, you know what? I put all these things together and I'm saying, okay, that's the answer. Kill the worms. And other people have had this answer too. But I don't understand why the cancer doctor can't give you a prescription for it. And maybe I don't know that it's all across America. Because I have heard of some taking fenbendazole, and that's a wormer also. But all I know is I had already gone out to the feed store. And this is a 250 milliliter bottle of ivermectin, liquid, injectable. No, I haven't injected it. I didn't. My cousin was telling me about this, and she just puts it in her soda pop. She draws it up like she's gonna do a shot, but she puts it in her drink, either in her coffee or her soda or whatever. I don't know that it actually has a taste. But I did not suffer any ill effects, as in nausea or any of that stuff. Just when my body started going through this deal, I didn't know for sure. And I'm going, oh my God, okay. So I stopped and I said, okay, I'll be okay. But it was over a month before that stuff stopped. Now, I've got a needle here. My mother, and also me too, I'd had a surgery and they make you take shots. I can't remember what it's for. But anyway, my mother had a bunch of these needles in the house, so I took them. And I'm glad I did. So what I'm gonna do, I haven't done this in a while, like I said. I should really go heat my coffee up again, but I've already done that. So, in the top it's a rubber thing. You know how the doctors are. They'll draw up the medicine. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hope that I'm gonna do, because since I haven't used it, it could be stuck. In fact, okay, it's moving. Okay, and it's not stuck. So what I'm gonna do is draw up a mil and put it in my coffee. And I really feel like I ought to go heat that up again. So I'm gonna pause and go do that before I put the medicine in. I'm back. So I'm gonna tip this upside down. And then I'm gonna see. Last time I had troubles drawing it out, but I'm gonna still try. I don't know if you can see it filling up. It's not filling up very fast. It's been a while. It doesn't want to let me draw it out. Because I didn't put any air in it, maybe that's why. You got all I need. I know you people do, same as me. We love our music. And even if you don't listen to the radio very much, okay, I'm going to pull that out. In other words, I used to listen to the radio all the time, but I don't anymore. But then you have these TV shows. They have music playing too. So now I've got this song in my head, and it's from Bridgerton. Do 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 do. You got all I need. Okay, so I've got a milliliter of this clear liquid, and I'm gonna stick it in my coffee. But I wonder, because you do stick it in your animals, in their neck. Somebody told me to do that, and I thought they were being rude, but maybe they meant it. Maybe they meant it in a good way, is what I mean. Because, yeah. Now, you think you're going to get a cow to stand still for you to do that? No, not unless you put them through a chute. They've got these... I never thought about that. They got a squeeze box. Remember that song? Mama's got a squeeze box she wears on her chest. Do, 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 do. I don't know the rest of it. Anyway, I never understood that, but I'm a little bit dense sometimes. I went to bed with my... See, I just changed the subject. But I did. I bought myself some satin sleep bonnets. I'm not sure if that's such a good thing. It is for a point. I'm trying to help not break off my hair. You know, we don't know what we're doing in bed, tossing and a-turning all night long while we're asleep. And all I know is my hair's gotten thin, and I don't want to lose it. Still might, you never know. But, so this bonnet, I need to make a better one, because I really like my bandanas, and they make my head feel, it's like a head cozy, a brain cozy is what I called it once, you know, it does. It comforts my head when I have a headache. And I tried not having my bandana on last night. I mean, I went to bed, I kind of had a headache, but not a lot. And normally what I'll do is go ahead and take a BC powder, but I don't have any of those. I gotta buy some. BC powder is aspirin and caffeine, and it's in a powder form, and you take it, it's nasty, but there's a trick to taking it. When you take it, within a half an hour, I would almost say 15 minutes, your headache's gone. Migraines, people. Okay, so I put that stuff in my coffee. I just heated my coffee up, so I don't know. Might be too hot. But it's time to go back on the wagon. I'm not sure if I would do it every day, like this guy is doing, but at least he's doing it every day and not having any ill effects. So maybe that was worms I was getting rid of. All I know is, boy, howdy, it lasted quite some time, a whole month. And yes, I was nervous, but I want my numbers to go down. And you find out that they really don't know what the proper number is. They're going by those scans more. I mean, we take blood work every month before I go in for my shots. And she's got a standing order for me to have the test done that watches my tumor markers. I haven't been able to do that every month because they wanted a month, and I go in for shots every 28 days. So sometimes when I go to do the blood work, it's a little too soon. But nevertheless, 120 and 150-ish, because I can't remember exact. I'm one of those exact people. Nevertheless, I got things going on, and I got to figure out my insurance, because craziness, people, you do need to pay attention. You know, the doctors just tell you, okay, I want a scan, either a PET scan, or in the next 3 months they want the bone scan, and there's two different ones, a CT scan and a bone scan. But I found out that my copay on the insurance that I have, that I thought was so great, my copay, $455. Since I'm having both scans on the same day, it's just $455, but otherwise it would be $455 for each day that I use their facility. Okay, this is a hospital, and they're saying it's the same thing as outpatient. Okay, but it is not the same. I have to get on there and cancel that appointment. I'm trying to figure out my insurance to switch that up, because there is insurance that has better copays. But also, I need to find a facility that does imaging, that's not a hospital. And I'll save $100 there. So people, pay attention. Don't just let everything be and pay and pay and pay. And myself, yes, I want to know these things, but I don't really think that it's necessary that I go do that every 3 months. And that takes up my whole check almost. They just don't realize what they're doing. And so you have to tell them. You have to be proactive and say, hey, I know I'm doing better, and I've been real tempted to quit my treatments because they're taking all of my hormones away, which is making me dry up like a pring everywhere, not just my face. And also it makes your skin thin. So these things are not good. I think I've been on it pretty much a long time. So it wouldn't be like I'm saying, okay, I'm going to just die. I don't think so. But what I am saying is, I believe the ivermectin has helped. And since money is an issue, I'm going to take my ivermectin, and I'm going to talk to the doctor. Because right now, unless I change my insurance, right now I have to pay $50 to see a specialist. All right, so I've got the eye doctor as a specialist and my cancer doctor as a specialist. And then these tests. Now they did say, I've got to do some more investigating, because they did say there's a different price. One, if it is preventative, then there's no copay. Diagnosis, I already have the diagnosis, so I don't know. All I know is I've got to do some investigating, and I will be not having as many scans. I don't think I need to do that. Watching the markers, the tumor marker numbers, and taking the ivermectin. And I did get a grant. I asked about a grant. I'm going, I pay so much every time I come in here for these things. And when I first started out in Kennewick, they told me, don't worry about it. We'll get a grant for you. But they didn't even offer that here until I asked about it. So I asked about it not long ago when I was talking to them about, do they take Humana? I've got to find out if all my people take Humana, and my insurance agent is telling me that they don't, but the people are telling me they do. So I'm just rambling, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of people in my situation that need to know that they can do something. So yes, it's nice and convenient, and maybe it's needed to have those scans every 3 months, but I don't think so. I think that we can change that up some. Maybe every 6 months we can have some scans done, and maybe we can just have a PET scan. Now, there's two different things. What we're doing is trying to build up my bones, because my bones, that's where the cancer left my breast and went into my bones. what I've been told is that it's not in any of my organs, it's in my bones. But still, that's, you know, when you look at it, your whole body is a skeleton, right? So, anyway, cheers. I have ivermectin in my coffee. But like I said, I'm going to not do like I did before. I will still contemplate, but I'm thinking that maybe I'll take it a couple of days in a row, and then I'll wait. I could just take it once a week, or maybe twice a week, but not every day. I don't think I need it every day. And I know if that was worms coming out, I got rid of a bunch of them. But that's scary business, people, that we have these foreign things in our bodies. So, just to recap, I talked to that guy, it was at least 20 years ago, right around there. I'm guesstimating it might be under 20, but not much. So I talked to him, and his answer was detox, colon cleanse, but that's a detox, okay? But kill the parasites. So that's one. Then we got the veterinarian telling us about these dogs that had cancer, and their cancer went away. Just coincidental. All right, so that's two. And then I've heard about it through other people, but not a lot. Okay, so I was on the search, and I found a way that I could get it, because my cancer doctors, they're scrutinized, okay? So I imagine that's why I cannot give you a prescription for a wormer. And this last doctor, one I see now, she said, you get heartworm and let me know, I'll get you some ivermectin. Well, recently I was talking to her, and she said, I mean, we're going over my cancer, okay? And she said it's working. The treatments are working. And I told her, I leaned over and I told her, and I'm taking ivermectin too. I mean, she didn't realize I was doing that. Just because I couldn't get a prescription doesn't mean I'm going to stop looking. I want to live. I'm not ready to die, and I think it's worth a chance. And then you look up, it says that in 1996, the FDA approved ivermectin for human consumption. Okay? I know I have my glasses on, I'm not reading. I'm gonna be reading, but not yet. So anyway, cheers. You people out there, if you have cancer, get yourself some ivermectin. Or fenbendazole, okay? Maybe the doctor would give the fenbendazole, but it's the same thing. It is a wormer. So I don't know. I don't know if ivermectin is the reason my numbers went way down. But I'm going to take it again. I'm still alive and kicking. I don't want to be kicking. However, I do want the energy to do that. And for those of you who have been watching, I'm not sure how much I've told you. When my legs got so weak, that ended up being my blood pressure medicine. When the doctor found out that my legs were weak, she got me off of it right away. But in the meantime, I hadn't been to see her. I had put it off, and it was a happenstance that I told her about my legs. Maybe she asked the right question. But she immediately got me off of that blood pressure medicine and put me on something else. So I'm able to walk a lot better. At that point in time, I went out to walk because I wanted to at least walk around the block, right? And I went out and down this, I went maybe 20 paces, and I'm going, oh my. I felt like I might buckle. I needed to go back home and sit down. So that's not right. And then you look and you see that, hey, losing your mobility, being weak in your limbs, that's like right before you die or something. So, I mean, these medications are not always for our good. And then now I got a problem with my eye. Now that could be blood sugar. And it also could be scars and things from when I had cataract surgery 6 years ago. Because they did find a big scar in my right eye. She said, you'll see a lot better once I laser that off. But we put that on the back burner because we got to worry about glaucoma. I just had my fields test. All I know is I don't want to lose my sight. And the reason I even brought that up was because the eye doctor was telling me, not the specialist, okay, this is the eye doctor that I saw at Walmart. He was very good. But what about him? Oh, he was saying that don't take your blood pressure medicine before you go to bed. Take it in the morning. I've been taking all my medicines at night because they tend to make you sick. And so you take them while you're sleeping. Well, he's telling me not to do that. He says one of the problems is you're not getting enough blood flow to your optic nerve. Okay, now that's not what I found out when I went to the eye specialist, and then I watched a video on glaucoma. There's a different reason. I mean, it is about pressure, but it's not blood pressure. It's like there's supposed to be something in the front of your eye, maybe in your eyelid or something, that lets liquid drain away from the eye, okay? But if it doesn't drain, then it pools and it causes pressure. So we're in the middle of trying to figure out that. I haven't heard anything, so no news is good news, I hope. I sent for my records from after my cataract surgery. Maybe they just sent them straight to the eye doctor instead of to me. I thought they were going to send them to me, and then I was going to produce them. They could not fax them because they're pink. They said it wouldn't show up very good. So anyway, we'll just see. March 5th, I go back and see her, and then maybe I'll have some information after that. So many people have cancer. So, a lot of them, they're not going to want to believe in any of these homeopathic remedies. But, if you find yourself in that position, I wish I would have known some things, because I had them removed. They went in, I think they might have been going to remove the lump, I don't know. But the lump was a lot bigger than they thought. And so they did a mastectomy on my right breast. And the cancer was up in here. So not right in front, but up in here. So it was ugly, horrible, way horrible. I don't really like how it looks now. However, at least it's not down to my rib cage, because they took everything down to my rib cage. So now I have a mound. But see, I found out later, that surgeon told me that my nipple was involved. Well, I found out later on it was not. It was not involved, and I did not need to lose my nipple. But I did. They took it away. So I've got a mound. It's a little bit on the crooked side, and it's got some scars. But it is a mound. So I figure that's good. However, if I had it to do over again, people, I'm talking to you people that are in the beginnings of this. First of all, I was offered a specialist. I should have went to a specialist. It was 2 hours away in dense traffic of Denver. I didn't want to go, but I should have. I should have went to a specialist. Then I would still at least have my nipple. And maybe they would have did a better job. I don't know. They're not the ones who did the reconstructive surgery. They did the destructive surgery. It's not funny. So my daughter comes home the other day, and she's telling me, actually, she sent me a message and told me to look up olive leaf, which I did, and I'll probably get some of that. But one of her co-workers was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she's supposed to have a lump about the size of a golf ball. But they're going to go in and do a mastectomy. I believe. Maybe I didn't hear that right. Maybe they're just going to go in and do a lumpectomy. But here's the thing. Castor oil gets rid of lumps and bumps, cysts and tumors. They've got oil packs that you can buy, and what it is cotton. Like, you can get a set of them. I want one for my abdomen, and I want one, they have this one set. They have 2 round circles that you stick in your bra, and you can wear them to bed at night. You can wear them all day long if you want. And you take and you cover this pad with castor oil. So therefore it can stay on you. And I'm sure it must have like a plastic type guard so it doesn't get your clothes all dirty. But if that was me, after going through what I've been through, I would do that. I would try that. A lot of times they're going to make it seem, like it's urgent, that you hurry and do stuff, and you're scared to death when you get that diagnosis. You just don't know what's going on, and your brain goes into overdrive. But if it was me starting over, I would be doing those castor oil packs. For reals. And I do want to get the one that you put over your abdomen, and you can put it over your liver. That people who have fatty liver. Now, I haven't been told I have that, but it doesn't hurt to do some preventative measures. So I've got castor oil upstairs. I bought some, and it's in the. I bought some before that's in a plastic thing. You shouldn't do that. They're finding out that plastic is not good, and that it microscopic things that are plastic leaks into your, like we're buying these bottles of water. It's supposed to be clean water, right? But they're in plastic bottles. And they're in plastic bottles for a long time. And I had heard in the past, you don't want them in the sun. Okay, well, I don't think they're getting the safest treatment out there. And we all felt like plastic is groovy grapes. But here, look, ivermectin, that's plastic. And I bought castor oil in plastic. But they're saying to not do that. You need glass, you need like an amber color, some different color so that it blocks out the sun. The sun degrades it. Nevertheless, I need to do that. You can make your own packs, but they're saying to make sure you use 100% cotton. I could probably make me some. I've got 100% cotton up there because I've been quilting. So anyway, if you have lumps and bumps, castor oil is supposed to be able to get rid of them over time. Even bone spurs, okay? If you've had bone spurs for 3 years, then they said it might take 3 months to get rid of it, but it'll get rid of it. My dad had bone spurs on his heels, and I did not know it. I don't know how long he had them like that, but it was a problem once he went into a facility. I never knew because, I mean, the person who come in and took care of him a couple times a week, she would soak his feet. I never heard anything bad about his feet. Then my brother was telling me, you know, he's already been in a facility. He went to the hospital, he was there for a while, and then he went to a facility and there for a while, and he's stuck in the bed. And Nathan was saying that he had a gaping hole. I mean, if I remember right, sounded like a really bad wound where he had bone spurs. No one told me if he had that problem. He didn't ever say. And I would think that he would say. None of us like pain. So this is what the box looks like. Tractor Supply. Now, this bottle, like I said, is a 250 milliliter. They have a 50 milliliter for $50. And I got the bigger one because for $35 more, I got an extra 200 mils. Of course, I probably didn't need them. You know, and I'm not sure. Like I said, I took 1.5 mils for 14 days. So I've got plenty left. I'm willing to share with some people around here. Like if Jessica's co-worker was interested, I'd let her have some. And if another person we know that has leukemia, I think he should have some. But you see, I'm not a doctor and I can't tell them, and I'm not going to sign anything. Or I would want them to sign something saying, okay, we're not going to hold you accountable in case something bad happens. But all I can do is share. Share what I think. And like I said, I don't know. I don't know the reasons my numbers went down, if it was just only the hormone therapy. I really got a feeling this ivermectin has had a lot to do with it. So I'm going to take it some more. I need to get myself a calendar and set it up. I think I should take it at least once a week. Because depending on the animal, once is all you need to do for a year. So, cheers, people. I know I've been on here forever. I was going to do a really quickie, but that doesn't work for me. I got a big mouth and a lot to say. Anyway, it's, I don't know that it's snowing outside, but we've had more snow. My car has more snow on the top because I believe it was all cleaned off. We had a bunch of snow. It was heavy. It was wet. And now we got a bunch more. And it's supposed to snow all week. So, you guys have a really great day. And I am still going to share scriptures. I just need to figure out how to do it better. I need to get to the right crowd, those who are interested and want to know what Lou's take is on everything. Not that I'm an expert, but you know, my dad told me once, I worked for my Papa Bear in the propane industry, okay? Him and my uncle, one of his brothers, and my mother bought a propane company. And I was the person who worked for them. I did everything. In the beginning, I didn't know everything, but I did everything except for drive the delivery truck. People came in to get propane, I filled them up. Little bottles up to 500-gallon bottles. I'll call them a bottle. It's a tank. Not sure why I said that. Oh, about the expert, that's why. My dad took me around and showed me this and that and the other thing. Told me some stuff. And he looked at me and he says, now, you are the expert. And what he meant was the average bear coming in for propane does not know anything except for that propane goes in that bottle and they can hook it up to their grill or whatever they were using it for. That's another thought, people. I mean, my dad knew his business. Here's another story. We moved to Perryton, Texas. They had bought that propane company. The town, living in the town, they would not let you have propane. I mean, you could have a 20-pound cylinder and you could have a 100-pound cylinder, but you could not have a tank and you could not have heat. You could not heat your house with propane. But you could. Well, I mean, the house that Mom and Dad bought was huge. And I'm not sure if it had 2 furnaces or 1. But it cost a bloody fortune, okay? And so my dad was about fixing that problem. I'm not sure if he brought 2 100-pound cylinders or not. It was 2 or 1. And he drilled a hole through the wall, put the hose through the wall, and then had a heater on the inside of the house and the propane bottle on the outside of the house. That town of Perryton was not cool. They did not want any propane in town. They wanted to be the ones supplying you with your natural gas, okay? So here they bought this propane company, and you've got the city of Perryton will not let you do anything inside the city, and on the outside of the city is the co-op. So all the farmers were using the co-op. So where were we supposed to get business? You know, Dad set about finding some business. But anyway, the point is, the city showed up at Dad's house wanting to know how he was heating his house. I mean, really, talking about your freedom. They wanted to know how he was heating that house. How could he get away with not buying their gas, or very much of it? So anyway, just saying, there are ways around things. Just don't bring the propane into the house, not the bottle, outside of the house. But you can drill a hole big enough and you can get a grommet so that you can get that rubber hose, that propane hose through the wall. And then you can stick a grommet around, which will close up the air leaks. But, I mean, we had a room, I bet it was 40 feet wide. There was an addition made to the back of the house. It was a big, huge room. Big room. Okay. But it was at least 40 feet wide. Probably 40 feet wide and 20 feet deep. And it was the living space. I mean, as far as that's where we did our living, was in that room, except for when you went to bed and into the kitchen. So, just saying. Like I've been trying to say, furnaces, they're nice, but then you're trying to heat up the whole house, every crevice, when you don't need to. And then, don't go to work and leave the furnace running. There's timers too. I don't know how we could do that, but there's a way to set time for it to turn on, time for it to shut off. And that would help a lot with the bill. Okay, so now I'm done. It's almost an hour. And I am still thinking I need to do some shorts. I need to make some really short videos. And I did. I did one that said, God is good, God is great. Let us thank Him for everything, including what we ate. And before I knew it, that video had 1,600 views. I'm going, wow. I think it topped out, you know. But the point is, I need to make a bunch of little ones instead of these long things. People don't got time to listen to me jabber, but sometimes there's some really good stuff in my jabbering. I still am dealing with hot flashes, so I'm not sure what to do about that. And if I drink coffee, it makes me hot and gives me a hot flash. So I guess I should drink it with ice and see if that helps. Because right now I'm having one of those hot flashes. Now, something that even my cancer doctor didn't realize, this one. Gabapentin is good for hot flashes. But see, it tends to put you asleep, makes you sleepy. And I don't want to sleep. So I've been taking it at night when I go to bed. And she had given me a different medication that works, but it's so expensive. And it's geared strictly for hot flashes. But we quit doing that. I mean, wintertime came on, and so I was doing better than in the summer. Summer makes it really bad. And see, that's one of the side effects from this hormone therapy is they're taking all my female hormones away, which makes me have hot flashes. So I'm having one right now. That's why I'm talking about it. It's like, okay. Anyway, I might need to talk to her about that. She was shocked that the gabapentin works, but it does work. It's just that I take 300 milligrams at night, and maybe I should be taking it in the morning. I don't want to be sleepy. I want to wake up and do something. Do something more than dream of your mansions above. Doing good is a pleasure, a joy beyond measure. Da da dum, da dee da da dum. I don't know, but that came into my head as a church song, of course. Put your shoulder to the wheel, push along. Do your duty with a heart full of song. We all have work, let no one shirk. Put your shoulder to the wheel. Da, 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 da. I don't know the words, as you can tell. And it's been a long time. I've got to start going back to church. The prophet is telling us that the ark door is closing and that we have to get to the temple. I've been through the temple, but I'm not living up to my covenants. I haven't been going to church. However, I've been trying to spread the word, because those of you who do not know need to know. And those of you who do know, I guess we need to get back in there and do our part. We've got over 20,000 missionaries out in the field. And part of the work that needs to be done is sharing the gospel, helping those missionaries find people to teach. Instead of them having to go door to door and having doors slammed in their face, we share the gospel and we invite the missionaries to come and teach people. And therefore, their time is more well spent. They're paying. They're paying for their own way, most of them. The church does help some. You know, these kids have missionary funds from the time they're little. They're earning money one way or another, putting in this fund for when they are going to go on a mission. And then you've got missionaries out there. Some of them don't have the money, okay? And then they're men and women, young men and young women. Used to be mostly just men. But what I was going to say is they get hungry. So I believe it's probably done in every ward, but they will have a calendar circulated to find out who could feed missionaries on such and such day. In other words, you sign up to feed them. And you might want to just, we have to get bold and brave and share the truth and see people. You can't be out there just preaching. You have to look for opportunities, because all they're going to do is say no. But given the right opportunity where you're sharing and not pushing, then you can get the door open. I got a hair in my nose. I can feel it. Anyway, people, you guys have a great day. I might, I've thought about it, and I might do that, find a time. So if you guys have a comment, I need to find a time to do a live. And I was thinking that I would do it on Sunday. For those of us who don't go to church, it would be like church, kind of, sort of. In other words, if I could share some good words. But lives, I don't know. But I did see, even on here, I did see a good response. And I did a live, I only did one. I did a live over on TikTok. And I had 914 views. Wow, I did the live. Not later popping up and seeing, oh, she did a live. And all the lives I've done, which aren't that many, but I've never put it out there that I'm going to do it. I've just gotten on. So I have to do some learning. In other words, schedule it. And then maybe you guys can have a time figured out and get a reminder and come on board. The live on TikTok was pretty good, but I didn't have a moderator. I think that might be the name. Anyway, I had a super rude comment, and it made me rude. And I don't want to do that, but I could not believe it. Just can't believe what people can do. So I was told that's what a moderator is for. It stops that from getting to me. You know, people, if they're being rude, they just get shut off, shut down. Which I did. I don't know how to do it, but I did. I was able to block that person. I blocked them, and of course I said a thing or two. But I don't want to get rude. I don't want to be mean. But in this life, sometimes that's how it's going to be. So, you guys take care. I'm going to go heat up my coffee again. Either that or put ice in it. I might just put ice in it. So I don't know that I want to heat up that warmer. Nevertheless, you guys have a great day. If you're fighting cancer and you haven't done anything for worms, you might want to. And you can get, I mean, that colon cleanse that I did was really strong. This is 20 years ago, guys, okay? And it was a week-long thing, and I had to stay by the toilet. It was not a pleasant situation, but I did see things in the toilet. They looked like a butterbean skin. The meat was all gone. It just looked like the skin of a butterbean. And it might have had some little legs. I don't know if it's so long ago, I can't remember, but I did see them, and I had been told that that's what they looked like. So I know they weren't long, skinny worms that I saw, but I did see some stuff. Anyway, we want great things. And I don't want to say time is short, but it is. Jesus will be coming soon. There's a lot that's got to happen before he comes, though. But see, things can fall into place before you know it. There you are. They keep talking about the 10 virgins, the 5 that were ready and the 5 that were not. And the 5 that were not just thought they could buy some oil off their sisters when their sisters were planning on using that oil to meet the bridegroom. Well, Jesus Christ is the bridegroom, and he's coming, and those who are worthy will be okay. But I don't know. I've got a lot to listen to, check out, and I just crossed into an hour, so I think it's time to stop. You guys, take care. I know I'm sporadic. I'm not where you can just find me. You can find me by going to my channel. And there's 1,275 videos. I did see that the other day. I didn't know how many in the middle. I could see that there's 1,200. But anyway, there's got to be a way that you can go back and watch all of them. And I would recommend that you do, especially from the beginning. July 16th, 2023. Put that, I mean, if you're watching me right now, just put that up in that little search thing. July 16, 2023. And I'm not sure in the beginning if I wrote it out July, but I think that Google's smart enough to just know. Put July 16, 2023 on Lose Touch. And it should pop up with the videos I did that day. And many of them, I have included the date instead of including a lot of other things, but always the date so you can get a running order. And if you want to look something up, stick that date in there. So like July 17 or July 18 or in the beginning, you know, it's an experiment. And I don't know what I did. And my very first video is not the best because I kind of hit a button and did it. And in the meantime, the TV's over there playing, and then there's Joe was outside hammering on something. So, I mean, there are distracting noises. Whereas, you know, I tried to do better later. But I did have important things to say in that video. And I think it is called The Experiment. Something about an experiment for that day. And in the beginning, the reason I got on here and started my channel, because I wanted to share some papers that I wrote up to 40 years ago. My daughter was 5 years old and in kindergarten. It was the first paper I remember writing. I'm not sure if there were others before that, but that was an important one. Turn on your light so you are not in the dark. That's the name of it. And then you would put on Lose Touch. LOU''STOUCH. And it should pop up. There are some other ones, and I wrote them. If you can get to my post and go down, you'll find a piece of paper, a picture of a piece of paper, and it's got handwriting. I wrote some titles. In fact, one is cute. My mama said I'd lose my head if it wasn't fastened on. Well, today I guess it wasn't, because while walking with my cousin, it fell off and rolled away, and now it's gone. This is just in my memory, okay? Let's see. I'm not sure in the sequence. So I can't, she's looking for her head now, okay? And the picture, there's a picture, and it's just a stick drawing, not just stick, but, kind of just a simple picture of this woman who has no head, who's fixing to sit down on her head, okay? So my mama said I'd lose my head if it wasn't fastened on. Well, today I guess it wasn't, because while walking with my cousin, it fell off and rolled away, and now it's gone. I can't see it because my eyes are in it. I can't call to it because my mouth is in it. Couldn't hear me anyway because my ears are in it. I think I'll just sit down on this rock and rest for just a minute. I really liked that one. Me and my girlfriend got a big chuckle out of that. My daughter was only like 2 years old first time I saw that. So I'm doing good to remember it that way. And here's another thing. At church, in Relief Society, which is a woman's group, they had this thing called a round to it. It was round. It was a cutout piece of construction paper, and on it was written these things about when I get around to it. Well, now you have around to it. So let's get with the program. I'm putting my own words in there, but I just thought it was cute. That was one of the activities we did. We all got around to it. So do better, my fellow servants. My fellow servants of the Lord. Take care of each other and be a peacemaker. That's what God wants. He wants us to love one another because we are brothers and sisters. He wants us to fight off the carnal nature of man, which is all this lasciviousness. Look that word up. Lascivious. Anyway, you guys take care. I will maybe come back and try to do something short. And I will try to be more consistent. And any ideas, like I was thinking on Sunday, I don't know what a good time is, but I know that there are a lot of us who do not go to church. And so that could be kind of considered church, even though it's not. We can read something interesting out of the scriptures. And I have been doing that. I slowed way down and went into quilting. Now I'm tired of quilting. Maybe if I had a better setup and if I knew what I was doing. I mean, I like the design I made for Shea Bear's quilt. And now I've done one for Kevin, sort of. I'm doing it different. With Shea Bears, I did quilt as you go. So by the time you get to the end, you don't have to do anything but bind it and you're done. But it's a lot easier to do the top, the quilt top. And so that's what I've started doing. And you've seen, if you go to my shorts, Kevin's quilt, the blue, it's got I want to say a turquoise blue, but anyway, it's got a lighter blue and a royal blue. And it's got black, and then it's got a pattern that's got flowers. So it's black, it's a blue background, and then it's got different shades of blue up to white, which gives it a really nice effect. It's beautiful material. So anyway, I have come up with a design that works, but when I was doing Tyler's, I got lost. So I have decided to start over with Tyler's and do that same design. Because that's what he wants. He likes that idea. And the first quilt top I made him wasn't like that. I started at the top, and so my design didn't go out throughout the whole thing. Like if I start right in the middle and I've got that one square, and then I build onto it, build onto it, build onto it, it's all symmetrical. Is that the right word? Anyway, Kevin's quilt top looks gorgeous. Part of it is the colors, but part of it is the design. And yes, I see you. Ow, ow. Moose. Moose is here. He looked up at me. Ow. Anyway, you guys take care. I'll talk to you later.